2023 so far has been a fantastic year for farming sims already, but I genuinely think this is only the beginning, because today I'm going to go through my top picks of upcoming farming sims that show you that the genre is not only getting better, but also even more unique. And the best part is the games on this list have mentioned coming out not only on PC, but also Nintendo Switch as well. And before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to my channel for all things new and cozy on the Nintendo Switch, and let's get into it. First up, let's talk about Fantasy Life, because this week they dropped a brand new trailer, and it's great news for farming sim lovers. For those who don't know, Fantasy Life is easily one of my most anticipated games of the year, despite the fact that all we know so far is that it's coming sometime in 2023. And the reason I am so excited about it is this mesh between life sim aspects, but also an RPG-like story going alongside of it. And this story will see you traveling between two separate time periods to uncover the mystery of a town covered in objects possessed by spirits of those who have passed away. But other than the story itself, one of the parts that really interests me is this mechanic called jobs, each of which kind of gives you your own perks when you level them up. So far we know of 13 different jobs ranging from combat-orientated ones like Paladin and Magician, crafting-based ones like Alchemist, Cook and Blacksmith, and gathering-based jobs like Angler, Miner, and their newly announced Farmer, which I believe this is the first time this has ever been an option. The best part about this mechanic though is that you can chop and change jobs as much as you like. And this job aspect mixed with the story and life sim aspects like decorating, building the town and restoring the island has gotten me really excited. And whilst I love the fact that this has farming sim aspects, I also love that it's not the main focus of the game. Next up we have Chef RPG. Now, I only just discovered this game, but it genuinely looks so good. The saddest part is though, we have literally no idea when it's going to be releasing. You play as a travelling chef who's been tasked to revive a once famous restaurant. And to do this, you settle down and begin your brand new life in the town of White Ash Harbour. The cool part about this is that the decisions you make in your journey will actually determine what kind of chef you will become. And over time, you'll gain experience points which you can use to unlock special abilities on a skill tree that tailors this even more. In order to run the restaurant though, like any good cook, you first need to gather the ingredients. And you can do this by fishing, hunting, foraging, or even farming. I love the fact that the farming in this game looks to have a purpose, like everything you grow needs to go towards a dish that fits the theme of your restaurant, and for that reason this is one of the games I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on. Then we have Bandle Tale. Now I know literally nothing about League of Legends, which this game is supposedly based on, but as soon as I saw the last Nintendo Direct, I knew I needed this game. In this, you play as a Yordle, a race of spirits who take the form of two-legged animals. And first of all, they are literally so cute. I cannot get over it. But secondly, the entire aesthetic of this game is just everything. I am obsessed. In this, you play as a shy Lordle living in Yarnville, an isolated island obsessed with knitting. Yep, this game just keeps on getting better. However, after your 101 year-long apprenticeship comes to an end, you start to wonder what lies beyond those portals connecting the city. That was until one night when the party you're at goes terribly wrong, causing the portal and everything around it to be thrown into chaos. And it's up to you and your knitting magic to try and restore the portals. And with 5 different islands to explore, I really can't wait to see what this game has in store. Alongside the story, there's also a lot of life and farming sim elements, like for example, there's going to be festivals, you can farm and cook and craft as well to keep you busy. And if you are someone who loves League of Legends, then you might even recognize a few of the people you encounter along the way. Now sadly, we don't exactly know when it's going to be released, we just know it's going to be coming to PC and Switch sometime in 2024. Then we have Moonstone Island. Now if you're a PC player, this game is literally days away. But don't fret if you play on consoles like the Nintendo Switch, it's coming, it's just going to take a little bit longer. This has been a game I've had my eye on for a while, as it's literally my dream mesh of genres. It's kind of like a Pokemon game infused with life and farming sim aspects. meaning that yes, you can go out and catch spirits, but you can also make friends, own a house, farm and brew potions alongside a fantastic story as well. This story will see you move to an island in the sky away from your family to finish your alchemy training. But don't worry, you'll never be completely alone, as you'll have your spirits by your side who you can catch and battle with in this unique card-based combat mechanic. The story will see you explore ancient temples, dangerous dungeons, and even biomes filled with different spirits for you to catch. But the thing that really excites me is the fact that this has what Pokemon has been missing all along: the ability to live life alongside all of the battling and catching mechanics. Like, for example, you can decorate your house, you can tend to your farm, and also get money by doing things other than battling trainers. But the thing that caught me by surprise were the dungeons. These turned out to be kind of reminiscent of old school Zelda dungeons, and I am obsessed with them. And overall, this just has everything I'm looking for. Next is Puffpal Island Skies, which wins the prize for the cutest farming sim on today's list. Because I mean, look at it. This is a wholesome life sim where you can farm, explore the vibrant biomes, customize your home, and even meet new friends, who, by the way, are the most adorable creatures I have ever seen. And the best part is, as you adventure around all these beautiful landscapes, you get a little booklet to keep track of everything you found on your way. And although we are quite a while away from this being fully released, I'm positive this is going to be more than worth the wait. Then we have Grave Seasons. Now, we don't know a whole lot about this game. I think it's very early on in development, so there's no trailer or anything, but the whole description of the game has me obsessed. This starts off like your typical farming sim. You move into a brand new town, start your very own farm, and get to know all of the people of the local town. But there's a very big twist. There's also a serial killer on the loose. And that serial killer is going to be one of the villagers. And it's actually up to you to try and figure out which one's the murderer. And the wild part is you could even end up dating the serial killer, which I think really makes this friendship and romance side of the game even more interesting. I tend to not care all that much about the friendship and relationship side of farming sims, but in this game, I am definitely going to be invested. The part that really gets me excited though is the fact that the murderer is randomized with every save you play. This not only means that you can replay the game and have a lot of fun with it, but also that you can't actually look up who the murderer is going to be. Because it's so different every time you play it, there's no cheating. It's truly up to you to try and figure out who it is. The dev has said to kind of expect a 50-50 split between romance and horror, with neither detracting from the experience of the other. I am obsessed with the idea of having a murder mystery farming sim, and I cannot wait to see what this turns into when they finish the game. Then we have Pixelshire, which is another life sim RPG hybrid, and again, I'm very excited for it. In this, you develop not only the farm of your dreams, but also the town around it as well. As this has everything you'd expect from a typical farming sim, but there's also a huge focus on exploration as well, with things like enchanted forests, mountain jungles, and procedurally generated islands that shift every time you enter the mist as well. With the main focus being you trying to become a part of the community, by making friends and even maybe falling in love as well. I played its demo earlier this year and fell in love with it immediately, and whilst this has everything you'd typically expect from a farming sim, it just feels like so much more. Then we have Lonely Outpost. Now this is playable in early access on PC as of right now, but we do know a Switch port is coming sometime in the future when the game is finished. This is basically Stardew Valley, but in space, as you are the first pioneer to land on this barren alien world, and it's your job to do whatever it takes to start a brand new life here and even make the world sustainable for humans to live on. This will not only see you plant crops, craft, fish, but also set out to try and build an entire colony from the ground up. I not only love the aesthetics of this game, but the entire concept. Who doesn't want Stardew Valley in space? Then we have Moonlight Peaks, which I've talked about a lot recently, so I'll keep this short and sweet. But this is basically a farming sim in which you're a vampire. This means that you wake up when the sun has set and go to bed when the sun rises. Not only do you look like a vampire though, you can also transform into different animals as well, each of which have their own benefits. So like for example, when you change into the vampire bat, you therefore develop supersonic hearing. But don't worry, you're not the only supernatural being around, as the town is filled with werewolves, witches, mermaids, and more. And not only does the game have a big focus on relationships and dating, there's also a huge focus on decorating as well, as it feels very similar to the Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise mechanics, and some of the decorating items are so cute. And I love that this supernatural theme carries through to the crops and every aspect of this game. We have no release date for this, but we do have news that they're going to be doing a Switch port, so fingers crossed we see it sometime in 2024. Then coming sometime in November is my time at Sandrock. Now this is a farming sim on a completely different scale to everything else I have talked about on this list. This takes place in a wholesome, post-apocalyptic world 330 years after the Day of Calamity. A day in which most modern technology was destroyed. And the beginning of the game sees you accept the role at Sandrock as their newest builder. And it sees you help to restore the town and the community. First of all, this is actually an open world farming sim, and we'll see you travel through huge deserts to try and discover relics and new materials which you can use in the town. The town itself is also massive and has a ton of characters which are not only incredibly fleshed out but are also completely voice acted as well. And the fun part is the side quests which you do for them helps you learn a little bit more about their history and helps you really get to know them. I think by far the most ambitious aspect of the game though is the crafting, as this has a giant workshop for you to use with basically like mini games in order for you to build, which allows you to make your farm bigger and better than any farming sim I've seen before. Now this is also coming to the Nintendo Switch on the same day. I'm gonna be real, I am a little bit nervous. This seems to be so ambitious. I am worried about how this is gonna run on the Switch. Either way, we don't have too long to wait. Then we have Solarpunk, which is a little bit different to all these other farming sims, because this is actually a survival-based farming sim, where you're on a world filled with floating islands. Now you can either play this by yourself or with your friends, and it will see you construct buildings, grow food, craft gadgets, and even explore distant islands in your airship. One thing that really caught my eye and made this different to all the other farming sims I've been talking about though, is its use of sunlight, wind, and water to generate electricity. That then allows you to kind of set up your farm so it can be more automatic with all of the gadgets that you build. And I love this idea as it allows you to really go out and enjoy the exploration without having to constantly worry about your farm. And to finish off this list, we're going to have a few farming sims that are already out on PC but are coming to the Switch sometime soon. First up, we have Palia. This is a cozy farming/life sim MMO, where you're in a world with 24 other players, and the story sees you randomly emerge from some ruins one day into the world of Palia. A world which has long since believed humans to be extinct, until you showed up, along with every single other player in the game. And it becomes up to you and the help of the locals to try and figure out what happened all those years ago to the human race, and to figure out if it has something to do with this ancient magic called flow. And the thing that really surprised me the most was just how alive the game feels by just having 24 other players run around with you. And by the time this comes to the Switch, there's going to be so much content because the rate at which they're bringing updates is unreal. Now, the farming sim mechanics are a lot of fun so far, although there is no animal care as of right now, but they did just recently add a couple more crops into the mix. But one thing I love about Palia is the decorating is so much more detailed than any farming sim I've seen before. Like for example, when you're building your house, you can place rooms wherever you want to literally make your dream home. I've also fallen in love with so many of the NPCs as they're fleshed out so well, and so far we've had one big event in the game that's been an awful lot of fun, so I can't wait to see what they do with this at Christmas when it comes to the Switch. Then we have Roots of Pacha, which we have no idea when to expect this, but I still can't wait. This is a prehistoric take on a farming sim where they truly put put their own spin on the farming sim genre. When you first start the game, all you have is a joint tent to live in and a pointy rock. But as you start to farm more and contribute to the town by donating food and things you foraged and found, townspeople will start coming up with inventions to help you on your way, meaning that as time goes by, you can make your farm bigger and better. This system, coupled with the almost bundle-like achievements, made me unable to put this down. And seeing as this is already fully controller compatible, I'm hoping this should have no issues when it comes to the Switch. And finishing off today's list is Sunhaven. Now, if you've been eyeing up Fae Farm but can't justify the price, this very much carries the same energy, as you basically get to play as a fairy or demon depending on what you choose from the very start. This is a magical farming sim where you can mine, craft, romance, and have multiple farms and houses in different magical locations as well. Now, this game can feel overwhelming at first because there is so much to do, but essentially the game sees you move into this new town called Sunhaven right as it's struck by dark magic, and naturally it becomes up to you to try and fix it. I love this medieval-like feel to the game and the fact that there's so much to explore and see outside of the main story. Now, the Discord did suggest we could see this sometime in late 2023, so hopefully it comes soon, because honestly, this has been one of my favorite farming sims. Speaking of farming sims, if you want to see my full review on Fae Farm, click this video here.